As Mistress of Ceremony, it is my honor to welcome you all to the official closing ceremony of the 23rd annual session of Gender Model United Nations.
It is my pleasure to give the floor to our Mistress of Ceremony, Alice Fregoso. Miss Alice Fregoso, you have the floor.
Honorable authorities, keynote speakers, honorable members of the Secretariat, President and Co-President of the International Court of Justice, fellow officers, delegates, MUN directors, distinguished guests, indispensable members of press and admin, good afternoon. My name is Alice Fregoso, and it is an honor for me to be standing here in front of you as Mistress of Ceremony of this GeMUN 2026. Over these past few days, I have had the privilege of attending many of your debates across the different conferences, and it has truly moved me to witness your dedication. In every speech, in every point raised, in every respectful disagreement, I saw not just preparation, but genuine care. You did not simply participate, you believed in what you were building, and that is something rare. I hope this experience has opened your eyes to perspectives you had never considered before, that it has challenged you, inspired you, and perhaps even unsettled you in the best possible way. I hope it has planted questions that will stay with you long after today. Because sometimes the most important outcomes are not the resolution we pass, but the thoughts we carry forward. Tonight, I will go home tired, that beautiful kind of tired that comes after giving your whole heart to something. But I will also go home profoundly proud. Proud of your courage to speak, proud of your willingness to listen, proud of the respect you showed one another. Watching the conferences from the outside allowed me to understand something I had not fully grasped before about the title of this edition, Both Against the Current. When we chose it months ago, it felt powerful. It evoked resistance, strength, the image of moving forward despite the force pushing you back. But after observing you, I began to see the metaphor differently. Perhaps it is not only about opposition, but about transformation. Maybe we are not simply boats struggling alone against an unstoppable current. Maybe we are not the boats at all. Maybe the boats are those who already hold power in this world, those who stand at the helm and appear to determine the direction. Yet, that does not make us small, powerless, or irrelevant. We can be the sea. We can be the waves, each one of us rising quietly at first, then gathering strength together. The boats may seem to choose the route, but it is the sea that makes the journey possible. Wave after wave, momentum builds, and even what once seemed immovable begins to shift. It is time for us to become part of the movement itself, not merely resisting what exists, but shaping what comes next. Change is not something that simply happens to us, it happens through us, through our words, our ideas, our determination. Change is not a distant storm we endure. Real change does not come from standing still or drifting alone. It is something we help create, something we breathe into existence with our words, ideas, and determination, when we decide to move together, when we understand that even if we are not yet the ones steering, we are still the force that makes movement possible. I sincerely thank the members of the Secretariat for the amazing team we have become. I could not have asked for anything better. So thank you, Pietro, Anita, and Silvia, for your efforts. It has been a pleasure to get to know you better and to work with you. Thank you, Beatrice, for always standing by my side and supporting me. It has been wonderful to share this experience with you after knowing each other for such a long time. Lastly, thank you, Giovanni, for being an amazing Secretary General and for being one of the best friends I have ever had. I will never be grateful enough for everything you have done and continue to do for me. You're genuinely one of the most important people in my life, so thank you. Thank you to the heads of admin, Matteo, Iris, Greta, and Matilde. Thank you to the heads of press, Petra and Beatrice. Thank you to the president of the ICJ, Alice, and to the co-president of the ICJ, Costanza. And thank you to the MUN directors, Mrs. Battelli and Mr. Lanzoni, and the junior MUN directors, Mrs. Massa and Mr. Piana. I conclude by thanking you all once again for your participation, and I sincerely hope to see you next year here. I now yield the floor to our Secretary General. Thank you.
Thank you, Mistress of Ceremony. You may now proceed with your duties.
Thank you, Giovanni. It is now my pleasure to give the floor to the President of the ICJ, Alice De Marchi. Miss President, the floor is yours.
Honorable members of the Secretariat, MUN directors, fellow chairs and delegates, and indispensable members of admin and press, good afternoon. My name is Alice De Marchi, and this year I had the honor of serving as the president of the ICJ Court. Today we have reached the end of a fascinating and remarkable event, GeMUN, an experience for which we should all be grateful. GeMUN gives us the opportunity to engage in meaningful debates and build new connections. It makes us more aware of the world we live in and strengthens our knowledge by improving our understanding of global issues. This year's case, Iran versus United States, revolved around the Treaty of Amity, which regarded complex economic matters. It was far from straightforward. On the contrary, it was highly challenging. For this reason, I would like to sincerely thank all the members of the ICJ Court who persevered throughout the case, from the advocates to the judges. Thank you. A special thank you goes to my fellow co-president, Costanza Anastasi, to our registrar, Sofia Sardini, to Agnese Casaccia, one of the judges with whom I began my journey in this court. And to every member of the previous presidencies who made the ICJ possible by passing on their knowledge and by writing never-ending documents that allow each new presidency to continue their magnificent work. Also, thank you to the witness for the case. My gratitude also extends to everyone who worked to make this year GeMUN possible. Thank you all. I'm sorry, but now I have to invite my colleague, Costanza Anastasi, to join me. Together we will read the verdict delivered by the court, announce the winning party, and afterward proclaim the best advocate and best judge, plus 2 honorable mentions for the judges. Thank you. The International Court of Justice, after due deliberation regarding the application by the Islamic Republic of Iran in the proceedings of the alleged violations of the 1955 Treaty of Amity, economic relations and consular rights, Islamic Republic of Iran versus United States of America, declares the applicant party as the winning party with 13 votes in favor and 0 against. Whereas the parties stipulated to the following facts: the Islamic Republic of Iran will hereinafter be also referred as Iran. The United States of America will hereinafter be also referred as US or USA. The Treaty of Amity, economic relations and consular rights will hereinafter be also referred as Treaty of Amity. The United Nations will hereinafter be also referred as UN. The events which are currently taking places and occurred are not to be considered during the discussion of the case, which regards matters antecedents 2020. In 1968, both parties signed the Non-Proliferation Treaty that came into force in 1970. In the year 2000, Iran signed the Iranian Non-Proliferation Act, while certain member states have adopted national designation or characterization regarding Iran. No form of resolution of the United Nations designed the state itself as a terrorist state. For international law, a free state shall be granted for the right of development inside said state, without interference nor hamper. The parties acknowledged the descriptions of Iran differ across jurisdiction. For the purpose and the scope of the case, references shall adhere strictly to terminology reflected in instruments of the UN. No broader characterization is intended or implied. The Treaty of Amity was signed in 1955 but entered in action in 1957. The court makes the following findings of fact and or law. Whereas US sanctions against Iran heavily impacted Iranian economy and populations, and the possible illegal Iranian nuclear actions do not justify the US sanctions, and US sanctions are not to be considered legitimate, and US sanctions are not to be considered the breaking point of the Iranian economic crisis, and the US action affect Iran's relationship with other countries, and the US sanctions were not applied exclusively for economic purposes, and the responding party failed to bring enough evidence to the court, and Iran did test nuclear weapons, and Iran breached the Treaty of Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, and US breached Article 4 of the Treaty of Amity, Article 7 and Article 8 and Article 9. And there are no pieces of evidence proving that the IMF received a notification from the US regarding the sanction imposed on Iran, and the US sanctions are not legitimated by Article 20 of the Treaty of Amity, and Iran ballistic missiles do not represent a direct threat to the US, and the IAEA found an excessive amount of uranium in Iran, and the applicant party satisfied the burden of proof.
Therefore, the International Court of Justice orders, adjudges, and decrees that the Treaty of Amity Article 4 was proven to have been breached by pieces of evidence number 2 and 9, and the Treaty of Amity Article 7 and 8 were proven to have been breached by piece of evidence number 3, and the Treaty of Amity Article 9 was proven to have been breached by piece of evidence number 13. And the UN had already applied sanctions on Iran, and the US sanctions worsened the Iranian economy, and both the breach of the non-proliferation of nuclear weapons and the excessive quantity of uranium possessed by Iran does not apply directly to the Treaty of Amity. After looking at the evidence provided by both the applicant and the respondent party, the following measures should be put forward in order. 1, that USA should terminate all sanctions imposed upon Iran on the 8th of May 2018. 2, that the USA shall not be considered as the main cause of the breaking point of Iran's economic crisis. 3, that the USA is not to be considered legally liable for influencing Iran's relationships with other nations. 4, that the USA shall grant Iran freedom of commerce with third states. 5, that the US should adopt measures to mend the economic damage caused to Iranian population. 6, that it is to be taken into account that Iran, by having tested nuclear weapons, has breached the Treaty of the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. 7, that the International Atomic Energy Agency should strengthen its periodical checkups on Iran's nuclear facilities. 8, for any other dispute falling under its jurisdiction, both parties should appeal to the ICJ.
Okay, now for Best Judge. Best Judge is Agnese Casaccia.
Best Judge, you may stand up.
Please,
Best Judge, you may stand up.
Now, our honorable mentions goes to Judge Beltrami and Judge Perola.
And finally, the award for Best Advocate goes to Advocate Cora Solari. We give the floor back to our Mistress of Ceremony. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. President and Mr. Co-President. I would now like to yield the floor to the President of the General Assembly of GeMUN 2026, Anita Parodi. Ms. President, you have the floor.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Mistress of Ceremony, for the floor. My name is Anita Parodi, President of the General Assembly of this 23rd edition of GeMUN, and it is a profound honor to stand before you today at the conclusion of these very intense 3 days. First of all, I wish to thank each and every one of you for being here. But above all, I want to thank the young people in this room who truly are the beating heart of this project. It does not matter whether you came here because your English teacher forced you, because you needed schoolwork hours, or because you genuinely believe in the value of this experience. What matters is that for the past 3 days, you have done something very important. You have engaged in politics. You debated, negotiated, you disagreed and compromised, you defended your country's interest while striving for collective solutions. You experienced what diplomacy truly means, working not for yourself, but for the common good. Watching you speak, challenge one another, and stand up for your ideas has filled me with hope. Unfortunately, we are living in a historical era marked by violence, injustice, and domination. An era in which strength too often prevails over justice. Equality before the law is no longer guaranteed, in which torture is normalized, civilians are brutally killed, people are unfairly arrested while at a supermarket, and states that proudly call themselves democracies remain silent in the face of grave violation of international law. The law of the strongest seems to dominate our reality. And we are taught to be passive, to survive rather than to resist, to obey rather than to question. Faced with all this, I often feel powerless. I long for change. I long for people to understand that this is no longer only a matter of politics, but a matter of morality. And yet, like I do many of you, I sometimes find myself living as if everything were normal. Because feeling powerless is exhausting. And pretending not to see is often much easier than confronting reality. I know I'm not alone in this. I know that many of you have felt the same frustration, the same sense of impotence. This is precisely why what I have witnessed during these days matters so deeply. Because seeing young people who care, who inform themselves, who choose engagement over indifference is a powerful sign of hope. We live in democracies built through sacrifice, struggle, and courage. We elect governments, but that does not mean we surrender all our power to them. Please always remember this. Democracy does not live in institutions alone. Democracy lives in us. As former Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan, once said, young people should be at the forefront of global change and innovation. Empowered, they can be the key agents for development and peace. Therefore, you're not too young. You're not irrelevant. You're not powerless. Participation is a choice, just as silence and abstention are choices. And history has shown us that choosing not to participate is never, never neutral. So I urge you to be those bows against the current, to resist apathy, question what you're told, and inform yourselves critically. Believe in your voice and in your power, even when the world tries to convince you that you don't have any. When you feel alone, when you feel powerless in a cruel and unjust world, just look around you. You are surrounded by people who feel the same, and together that feeling can become force. Together we can be the engine of change. Thank you. Now, I would like to briefly thank those who made this journey possible. I began GeMUN at 14 as a delegate, then as a chair, and this year at 18, I had the honor of serving as president of the General Assembly. Therefore, over the past 5 months, very long months, together with the Secretariat, I worked tirelessly to make these 3 days a reality. First of all, I would like to thank the MUN directors and co-MUN directors, Professoressa Battelli, Professor Lanzoni, Professoressa Massa, and Professor Piana, for their dedication and courage in taking on this project for the first time. It has been an honor to work with you. I would also like to thank another professor who served as MUN director for many years. He has accompanied me throughout this entire journey and passed on to me the passion for this project. I'm speaking about Losada. Thank you for always believing in me, in my abilities and potential. Thank you to all the members of the admin and press, the assistants, all the members of the ICJ, you are such amazing people. GeMUN would not be the same without you. Thank you for your hard work and for the dedication you put into this event. Many of you are also dear friends of mine, and you made these 5 months of preparation much easier and more enjoyable. I deeply thank each and every one of you for all the laughs, the moments we shared, and for always being by my side, both inside and outside the school environment. I also thank all the chairs, especially the new ones that I had the honor of training this year. I'm very proud of you. Finally, thank you to my fellow members of the Secretariat. You have been the perfect companions in this journey. Thank you, Biba, Freghi, Sissi. Thank you, Pie and Jovan, for being not only colleagues and classmates, but so much more. You already know how much you mean to me, so I'm not crying, okay? Okay. We worked very hard, but today I can say with a heart full of joy that it was all worth it. I would like to conclude my speech with a special mention to our Secretary General, Giovanni Callera. No one could have fulfilled this role better than he did. He gave everything to this project, his time, his energy, all his dedication. I admire him, I'm very proud of him. And I kindly ask you to give him a big round of applause. Thank you. I wanted to mention another person I almost forgot, Nicolò. He really wanted to be mentioned in my speech, and so here you are. And now, for the last time, I yield the floor back to the Mistress of Ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. It is now my pleasure to give the floor to our Undersecretary General, Beatrice Ghirlanda. Undersecretary General, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is a great honor for me to stand here in front of this large audience. My name is Beatrice Ghirlanda, and I am the Undersecretary General of this edition of GeMUN. Today, we gather to reflect on a theme that concerns each of us, freedom. Article 3 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that every individual has the right to liberty of person. However, can we truly say today that this is the case for everyone? As Plato argued, a person is truly free only when they can choose and act according to their own will. In contemporary legal theory, freedom is protected as a universal right. However, in everyday practice, it often seems to turn into a privilege. Those who fully enjoy it are people with economic resources and power, while those living in precarious conditions are prevented from making authentic choices because, rather than living, they often survive. Rights seem well established, yet they are constantly threatened by new forms of control and authoritarian drift. Formally democratic governments adopt increasingly authoritarian practices, restricting spaces for participation and dissent. And this is where the world meets us. Faced with freedom under pressure, we are not gathered here by chance. Today, we assume a role to be both against the current, actively steering against indifference and constraint. We must choose not to be passively carried along by the dominant flow. We must oppose the social and cultural restrictions that compress the individual and suffocate critical thinking. We must refuse indifference. This year's GeMUN theme is not only a literary reference, but a declaration of intent. Studying, learning, staying informed, debating. These are our most powerful weapons because they are forms of emancipation. Now comes the most difficult part of my speech, the acknowledgements. These months of preparing for GeMUN have been intense, but many people have made them unforgettable. Thank you to Ms. Battelli, Mr. Lanzoni, Ms. Massa, and Mr. Piana for your commitment as MUN directors. We successfully carried out an excellent GeMUN, even though this was our first year leading this project. Thanks also to Mr. Orlando and Mr. Lozada for having led the foundations on which we work this year. A special thanks goes to the admin heads, press heads, assistants, and ICJ presidency. Without you, this project would not have been possible. I also have to thank my best friends from the chair team, Roberta and Guido. Thank you for having supported me behind the scenes. However, 5 people have made, truly special. Silvia and Anita, thank you for your determination. The General Assembly could not have had a better presidency. Pietro, thank you for being the best fellow Undersecretary General I could have asked for. Alice, thank you for your willingness to help me, listen to me, and above all, understand me. A precious gift in these hectic times. And finally, Giovanni, not least, thank you for giving me the opportunity to join the Secretariat and experience this journey with all of you. Without you, I would not be standing here today. Now, I would like to conclude by recalling the words of East of Eden by John Steinbeck. And I invite all of you, the members of the Secretariat, my friends from the chair team, from the ICJ, the delegates, the press, the admins, and everyone present here today, not to receive these words as a mere quotation, but as a genuine piece of life advice. Freedom for the mind to take, without coercion, the direction it desires. And against this, I must fight. Every idea, religion, or government that destroys the individual. This is what I am, and this is why I am. I can understand why a system built on a pattern must try to destroy the free spirit, because that thing is one which by simple analysis can destroy that system itself. I understand it very well, and I rebel against it, and will fight it to defend and preserve the one thing that distinguishes us from animals. If freedom of spirits can be killed, then we are lost. I yield the floor back to the Mistress of Ceremony.
Thank you for your speech. I will now give the floor to our Undersecretary General, Pietro Acquarone. Mr. Undersecretary General, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mistress of Ceremony, for the floor. Good afternoon. My name is Pietro Acquarone, and it is with great honor that I served as the Under-Secretary General of the 23rd edition of GeMUN. I would like to introduce myself by saying that I'm currently attending my 5th and last year at Liceo Linguistico Internazionale Grazia Deledda. And by saying these words, not only do I feel a bit nostalgic, but I also feel very grateful. Even though high school has been very challenging, and in several moments I thought that studying certain subjects was a waste of time, I have reached the conclusion that I am extremely lucky. Lucky because I was born in a country where studying is taken for granted, and it is a right of each civilian. But unfortunately, while I have the opportunity of speaking in front of all of you, wearing my fancy suit and sharing my school journey, millions of teenagers and children don't have the same opportunities as me. Indeed, due to conflicts, social injustices, poverty, and gender inequality, the right to education is denied to a myriad of adolescents. This dreadful reality, which I, as an 18-year-old boy, feel very close to, is only the tip of the iceberg of all the conundrums that exist in this world left to us. And honestly, every time I am told that our generation has to change the future, I'm frightened and deeply concerned. Moreover, I ask myself, How can we solve these deeply rooted issues in society? And honestly, I don't know the answer. However, I do know that thinking about the future may be terrifying and can make you feel so little. Yet, we must face reality and stick together in order to destroy injustices. We have no time to split into different sides, focusing on differences and aiming to prevail over others. Those are primitive concepts. Nowadays, more than ever, it is paramount to be both against the current. Thus, to fight together for ideals which should be at the very base of society, such as peace, freedom, justice, and equality. My journey into the GeMUN project has come to an end, but all the lessons learned and the values conveyed will always be with me. In fact, I want to leave you with a thought from the writer C. Joy Bell C., who said, "Ends are not bad things. They just mean that something else is about to begin. And there are many things that don't really end. Anyway, they just begin again in a new way." Ends are not bad, and many ends aren't really an ending. Some things are never ending. And now, if you allow me, I would like to take a moment to express my gratitude to the people who made these past 3 days unforgettable. Thank you to each delegate, officer, judge, advocate, press member, and admin member. Thank you to the MUN directors, Chiara Battelli and Igor Lanzoni, and to the professors, Sara Massa and Emanuela Piana, who made this event possible. Thank you to Prof. Lozada and Prof. Orlando, who followed my growth in GeMUN during the past years. Also, thank you to the heads of admin, the heads of press, the assistants, and to the president and co-president of ICJ. A big thank you goes to the Secretariat, with whom I worked during the past months. Not only for what we accomplished, but for the human connections, trust, and support that made this experience unforgettable. Thank you, Biba. Thank you, Sisi. Thank you, Fergie. Thank you to Anita for being my biggest supporter. Even when I doubt myself, you never did. Thank you to Giovanni, the hardest working GeMUN member of all time. Thank you, Secretary, for placing your trust in me and for allowing me to serve as your right-hand person. And lastly, thank you to Margherita Mascello, my personal photographer. So yes, I'm still frightened, but standing here, looking at all of you, I'm also hopeful. Because if we are both against the current, then we are in this together. Thank you. And for the last time, I will now yield the floor back to the Mistress of Ceremony.
Thank you, Pietro. With great pleasure, I now give the floor to our MUN directors, Mrs. Battelli and Mr. Lanzoni. You have the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone. As we bring this conference to a close, I want to take a moment to recognize the people who made this journey possible. First and foremost, to our students, thank you. Your relentless work every single week for months, your research, your debates, your late-night drafting, and your unwavering commitment are what gave this conference its life. Model United Nations is not just about resolutions, it's about dedication, growth, and courage, and you embodied all of that. To our Secretariat, Head of Press, of Admin, Presidency of ICJ, and our chairs, thank you for leading your fellow students with such commitment and competence. Leadership is not easy. It requires patience, responsibility, and resilience. You stepped up to the challenge and carried it with professionalism and integrity. This conference stands on your shoulders. I also want to say something honest. When we began this journey, we didn't have everything figured out. In fact, sometimes we had no idea what we were doing, but you trusted us anyway. You were patient as we learned, adjusted, made mistakes, and caught up. That trust means more to me than you'll ever know. To our school leadership, our principal, vice principal, and director, thank you for believing in us and supporting this vision. To all the offices, our IT team, and especially our under MUN directors and our predecessors, the approval panel, and all our colleagues, your behind-the-scene work made everything run smoothly. Conferences don't happen on passion alone. They happen because of quiet, consistent support, and we're deeply grateful. And last, but certainly not least, my partner in crime, Mr. Lanzoni. I truly believe that the two of us better represent the spirit of the United Nations than we ever intended to. Those who know us know how deeply different we are. We think differently, we work differently, we approach problems differently. And yet, through dialogue, compromise, a few fights, and a lot of laughters, we managed to pull this off. It hasn't always been easy, but it's always been worth it. It's been a challenge, but also a fun, unforgettable ride. What the United Nations teach us that progress is not about uniformity. It's about unity despite difference. It's about listening, adapting, and working together towards something bigger than ourselves. And over these past months, that is exactly what we've done. Thank you all for your trust, your energy, and your belief in this conference.
So, what else? I cannot add anything else, no? So I want to speak with this one and say thank you, all of you. Thank you for our fantastic team, our incredible team. We do everything with love and passion. So this is important, no? I want to thank you to my assistant that helped me a lot, but there are one song very famous in Pink Floyd. They say, we put another brick in the wall. So this is a brick, but we need to destroy it, all the wall, because as Chiara say, we are different. We are completely different opinion. We fight also, but we create something new. And this is the sense of United Nations model. We can create something new. Maybe I'm different opinion, different ideas, different language, different religions, but we can find something else, something new. And this is not the end, it's just a start for a new GeMUN next year, for a new generation, for inspire other people. And this, I like when, okay, some people cry, and this is because the passion inside. We make maybe mistake, a lot of mistake, but we try to do our best. Because we love this kind of work. We want to be together, we want to stay together and share the moment for the life. In last day, one day before, they come other students from GeMUN. They was here many years ago. They come again. This is something important because we put something, this brick in the wall for the life. So I hope that all the delegation receive our hospitality. We receive good weather, enjoy Genova. And so I say thank you to be here. Thank you for this team. I love so much, very incredible. The admin, everyone, press, secretariat, everyone do the best 24 hours per day. So thank you to everyone.
Thank you. We will now entertain the Best Delegate Awards and the Honorable Mention Awards for each committee. I would like to call the chairs of SOCUM, Legal, DISEC, UN Women, WHO, CGEPS and SC committee to give out the awards in this order. Please delegate, if you hear that you're one of the best delegate or the honorable mentions, please stand up to receive your round of applause. Chairs of SOCUM, please approach the podium.
Good afternoon, everyone. I stand here together with my fellow chairs to congratulate each and every SOCUM delegate for the outstanding work carried out during this committee. We have witnessed a truly thought-provoking debate, and we would like to acknowledge all the efforts made by the House. This SOCUM session would have not been possible without your engagement, cooperation, and diplomatic spirit. Before announcing the awards, I would like to invite all delegates, not only those in SOCUM, to never lose faith. The world needs your voice, your ideas, and your determination to create meaningful change. With that being said, we're very pleased to announce that the honorable mention go to Mexico, the United States, the United States, and the United Kingdom. And finally, for their exceptional performance, consistency, and diplomacy throughout the debate, the award for Best Delegate goes to Qatar. Congratulations to you all.
Chairs of Legal, please approach the podium.
Good afternoon, delegates, fellow chairs, secretariat, ICJ, admin and press members, and distinguished guests. We stand here as chairs of the legal committee with the intention to thank you all from our conference for making the debate fruitful and interesting for all of us. We've seen various knowledgeable delegations, but some stood out more than others. We've long confronted each other, and at last we've managed to decree who were the most deserving of the honorable mentions and the title of Best Delegate. Without further ado, the honorable mentions go to the delegation of Egypt, France, and United Kingdom. Finally, the best delegate of this GeMUN 2026 legal committee is Save the Children. Congratulations for being the most active delegate and for your contribution to the debate. Again, thank you all for this debate, and we yield the floor back to the Mistress of Ceremony.
Thank you. Chairs of DISEC, please approach the podium.
Good afternoon, everyone. It has truly been an honor for all of us to serve as chairs of the Disarmament and International Security Committee. And we want to thank all delegations for their engagement. Throughout the conference, the delegates have demonstrated strong commitment, diplomacy, and understanding of the committee's agenda. Here we are to announce the 3 honorable mentions. That goes to the delegation of Algeria, Ukraine, and International Service for Human Rights. And the best delegate nomination goes to People's Republic of China. I yield the floor now, for the very last time, to the Mistress of Ceremony, Alice.
Thank you. Chairs of UN Women, please approach the podium.
Distinguished delegates, dear Secretariat and my own directors, indispensable members of admin and press, esteemed guests and fellow chairs, good afternoon. As we come to the end of GeMUN 2026, we want to begin by thanking all the delegates for your courage to speak, to negotiate, to disagree respectfully, to stand your ground, and sometimes to compromise. That's what truly defines your experience here at GeMUN. Over the past few days, we have witnessed diplomacy in action. Some of you led from the front, others led quietly through consistency, preparation, and integrity. Every single one of you contributed to the depth and quality of this debate. However, part of our role as chairs is to recognize those delegates who demonstrated an exceptional balance of diplomacy, content knowledge, strategic thinking, and presence. So, with great respect, confidence, and hard work, we would like to mention the two honorable mentions. First, Saudi Arabia. Then also France. And as a finale, our best delegate is Bangladesh. Please stand up. Thank you all for participating, and we finally yield the floor to our Mistress of Ceremony.
Thank you. Chairs of WHO, please approach the podium.
Honorable members of the Secretariat, fellow chairs, delegates, admin, members of press, members of the ICJ, esteemed guests, good afternoon. We stand here today thanking all those who have given us the chance of being the WHO chairs for this 2026 GeMUN session. We would like to thank in particular our delegates, who have participated in all the debates with interest and professionalism, leading to an interesting and fruitful GeMUN edition for us and for themselves.
Some in particular have caught our attention, and we wish to grant them the recognition they deserve. As an honorable mention, we selected the delegation of Ethiopia, the delegation of Spain, and the delegation of the United States of America. But one delegation in particular has proved their worth, and therefore would like to thank them. Our best delegate, who has provided our committee with good intervention and great participation, is the delegation of United Kingdom. Thank you all. We yield the floor back to the Mistress of Ceremony.
Thank you. May the chairs of CJEPs please approach the podium.
Distinguished delegates, fellow officers, esteemed Secretariat, MUN and Junior MUN directors, indispensable members of admin and press, distinguished guests, and members of ICJ, good afternoon. We stand here today as the chairs of CJEPs, honored to be representing such a wonderful committee. I want to start off by thanking everyone who helped us keep the debate sessions respectful and the environment friendly.
Furthermore, I would like to thank again you delegates for your active contribution and your dedication in writing and discussing clauses in these 3 days of debate. We were honored being your chairs and CJUPs. Some of you really stood out, like our honorable mentions, delegation of Italy, delegation of Greece, and the Russian Federation. Most of all, our best delegate, International Olympic Committee. We now yield the floor back to the Mistress of Ceremony.
Thank you. Finally, chairs of the Security Council, please approach the podium.
Honorable members of the Secretariat, fellow officers, delegates, press, admins, members of the ICJ, and esteemed guests, we would like to begin by extending our warmest congratulations to each of our 15 delegates for a truly remarkable debate session over these past 3 days. While we had to face several challenges and complex issues, every one of you maintained an exceptional level of decorum, regardless of the situation. On a personal note, we feel both deeply proud and honored to have worked with such a talented group. We want to thank you from the bottom of our heart for the incredible energy and dedication you brought to the Security Council, because you have truly made this an unforgettable experience. However, as in any rigorous competition, certain individuals demonstrated an extraordinary ability among the others. Out of this impressive group of 15, a few delegates stood out by virtue of their commanding presence and their outstanding performance and arguments.
I would now like to announce the honorable mentions for the Security Council. The first honorable mention goes to the delegation of France. Then we have the delegation of China. And the delegation of Congo. And lastly, I would like to congratulate the best delegate of our committee, the delegation of the United Kingdom. I will now yield the floor back to the Mistress of Ceremony.
Thank you, chairs. We will now entertain the Best Press Awards. I would like to call the heads of press to give out the awards.
Esteemed directors, secretariat, admin, and press members, members of ICJ, dear delegates, good afternoon. We're the head of press, Beatrice Perrino and Petra Porcu, and we're here to announce the best press member and the honorable mention of GeMUN 2026.
The honorable mentions go to Morena Langella and Gaia Corozo. The best press award goes to Angelica Avio. Thank you. We will now give the floor back to the Mistress of Ceremony.
Thank you. It is now my pleasure to give the floor to the heads of admin of GeMUN 2026, Matilde Foti, Matteo Barletta, Iristana, and Greta Bruzzese. You have the floor.
MUN directors, co-MUN directors, secretariat chairs, delegates, esteemed members of the admin press teams, members of the International Court of Justice, distinguished guests, good afternoon. My name is Matilde Foti, and I'm my 5th and final year at Liceo Deledda. And this year, for the second time, I served as head admin for GeMUN, and it's been a great pleasure. First of all, I would like to thank each and every one of you, especially my admin team, for helping make my last edition of GeMUN memorable. A special thanks goes to the MUN directors Battelli and Lanzoni and co-MUN directors Piana and Massa, who made this edition of GeMUN possible. Then, of course, I have to thank Iris, Matteo, and Greta, because without you, I would have gone completely crazy. Your support and not so present patience kept me sane through everything. I must also thank our amazing Secretary General, Giovanni Callera, with all the Secretariat, of course. Your work behind the scenes made this edition of GeMUN run beautifully, so thank you. Lastly, I feel like I have to give a bit thanks to Petra, our head of press. We've grown together through past editions of GeMUN, and honestly, this journey would have not been the same without you. Okay. I also would like to give my gratitude to Professors Lozada and Orlando, who helped me grow up and helped achieve the best version of myself these past 5 years. Everything I have to say about my personal journey I shared last year, so today I want to focus on something else. GeMUN isn't just about rules, resolutions, or debates. It's about giving everyone the chance to share their ideas, voices, and opinions. Every person here raised their voice, listened, disagreed, and collaborated, and that is exactly what makes this event so special. Speaking up is not always easy. I've tested it on my skin. Last year, I was so afraid of giving a speech, but everything went beautifully because at the end of the day, I was and am the one with the mic. I'm the one calling the shots, not the crowd nor anyone else. As I finish my time in GeMUN, I feel gratitude more than anything. Gratitude for the people, the experiences, the laughs, and even the chaos that made these editions unforgettable. So thank you all for your dedication, your energy, and for letting me feel part of a family that I will never forget and that will carry my heart forever. It has been an honor to serve as your head admin. Thank you.
Dear members of the Secretariat, fellow chairs and delegates, and our working members of admin and press, good afternoon. My name is Matteo Barletta, and it is both an honor and a privilege to serve as one of the 4 heads of admin. Over the years, I've come to understand how truly unique and formative this experience is. GeMUN is not simply a challenging project to organize. It is a beautiful journey that teaches you how to face unexpected obstacles with determination and, most importantly, teamwork. Because above all, beyond the logistics, the schedules, and the responsibilities, GeMUN is about people. It is about meeting new individuals who quickly become friends and building bonds that last far beyond the conference ends. I would like to sincerely thank every single person here for bringing this project to life. To the admin team, your dedication and commitment are the backbone of this project. To the Secretariat, your leadership and vision guide us and inspire us to give our best. I also wish to thank Matilde, Iris, and Greta for their constant support and collaboration. Sharing this responsibility with you has been an incredible experience. My deepest thanks goes to our MUN directors and former MUN directors. Your professionalism, guidance, and dedication have allowed GeMUN to grow year after year. GeMUN reminds us of the power of collaboration, the importance of curiosity, and the courage it takes to step forward and take responsibility. This experience challenges us, it inspires us, and most importantly, it brings out the very best in each of us. Thank you for being part of this journey, and thank you for making GeMUN what it is today.
Honorable members of the Secretariat, fellow chairs and delegates, and hard-working members of admin and press, good afternoon. My name is Iris Stana. I am one of the 4 heads of admin, and this is my 4th year in GeMUN organization. Over these years, I have learned how challenging it is to organize a project of this scale, but also how rewarding it is to see it come to life. I have learned that many young people, through experiences such as GeMUN, wish to make their voices heard and to prove that we are engaged, motivated, and far from indifferent. I have also come to understand the crucial importance of the work that takes place behind the scenes. I would like to sincerely thank everyone present here for bringing this project to life. I want to thank the admin team for their dedication and commitment. My gratitude also goes to all the members of the Secretariat, Alice, Beatrice, Anita, Silvia, especially to our Secretary General, Giovanni Callera, and our Undersecretary General, Pietro Acquarone, for their outstanding leadership and friendship. I also wish to thank Matilde Foti, Matteo Barletta, and Greta Bruzzese for standing by my side throughout this experience, both as teammates and as friends, as well as Costanza Anastasi, our co-president of ICJ, Gaia Moruso and Giorgia Bertamini, two of our best admins, and Ortenza Dalti, a delegate, for accompanying me throughout this journey. My deepest thanks go to our MUN directors, Ms. Battelli and Mr. Lanzoni, together with the Comune directors, Mr. Piana and Ms. Massa, for guiding us with professionalism and care, and for helping us address and resolve any unexpected issues. Last but not least, I thank Mr. Losada and Mr. Orlando for introducing us to this project and for inspiring our interest in the world around us, always with their sense of humor and friendship, which made us grow to love GeMUN. I conclude with a wish for everyone here, myself included. Let us embrace experiences like this, remain curious, open-minded, and truly engaged with the world around us. Let us never stop asking questions, learning from one another, and stepping outside our comfort zones, because it is through these moments that we grow the most. The future is in our hands, and with that comes both responsibility and opportunity. We must be ready to shape it with creativity and courage. Seeing all of you over these days has reminded me of the strength, energy, and beauty of being young, of the power we have when we come together, share ideas, and believe in what we can become. Thank you all for these moments, for the inspiration, and for reminding me why it is worth dreaming big. Thank you.
Honorable members of the Secretariat, fellow chairs and delegates, esteemed members of the International Court of Justice, our working members of admin and press, and you all, good afternoon. I'm Greta Bruzzese. I'm attending my fourth year at Liceo Deledda, and after serving for 4 years, first as a security member, then as an admin member, for this edition of GeMUN, I had the honor of being one of the 4 heads of admin. Over these years, I've realized how wonderful this project is and how much effort and determination each of us puts into it. I've understood how satisfying it is to see something so incredible coming to life and realizing that even if in a small part, it's thanks to you. GeMUN is not only a school project, it's a way to make our voices louder and to demonstrate that we care about what happens around us. First of all, I would like to express my deep gratitude to my esteemed and fellow colleagues and friends, Matilde, Iris, and Matteo. I want to thank our MUN directors and co-MUN directors, Prof. Battelli, Lanzoni, Piana, and Massa, for their constant commitment. My gratitude also goes to all the indispensable members of the Secretariat and to the entire group of admin for their hard work and engagement. I would like to thank my dear friends, as well as esteemed chairs, Lisa, Luca, and Matilde, for brightening everything and for being by my side every day since our first GeMUN. Last but not least, I want to express my deepest gratitude to Mr. Losada, who has been our MUN director in the past years, together with Mr. Orlando, whom I also sincerely thank. I'm grateful to my teacher for believing in me since the very beginning and for having faith in my potential. Finally, I must thank you all, because GeMUN would be nothing without us. The curiosity and the passion of every single member of this project are indispensable. I hope you never stop dreaming and always believe in your potential. Don't forget to share your energy with the world around you, and thank you again for these 3 wonderful days. And now we would like to give our honorable mention to Marta Parodi, Giorgia Bertamini, and Silvia Guidi. And we would like to give our gratitude to the best admin of this edition of GeMUN, Elisa Ricci. Thank you again. The floor is now back to our beautiful Mistress of Ceremony.
Thank you. I would now like to invite the 2 assistants, Emma Ansaldo and Emma Di Rocco, up here on behalf of the whole Secretariat. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you for your dedication, your hard work in making this conference a success.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're Emma Di Rocco and Enna Monsaldo from Liceo Linguistico, Grazia, Deledda. We wanted to thank you all for this amazing month. Working with you all has been an incredible honor. Your passion for this project is really something that we will bring in our heart forever. A special thanks to the MUN directors, Mr. Lanzoni and Mr. Battelli, and the core MUN directors, Ms. Priana and Ms. Massa. We would like to all thank you, our friends, and all students who worked hard for this project. And last but not least, thank you to our amazing secretary. You did an amazing job. Thank you all.
Thank you.
We will leave the floor back to the secretary.
With great pleasure, it is now time to yield the floor to our Secretary General, Giovanni Callera. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mistress of Ceremony, for the floor. To all participants and guests of GeMUN 2026, good afternoon. I'm Giovanni Callera, and I had the privilege and honor of serving as your Secretary General during this year's debate session and during what will be my final GeMUN. Even though this is my 5th closing ceremony, I feel overwhelmed, not because I don't know what to say, but because I'm not ready to say goodbye to something that has meant so much to me. GeMUN has been one of the best choices during my high school years, but it wasn't always easy. There were moments when I felt like a failure, moments when I thought I'd let people down by simply not reaching the expectations that I had set for myself. Time when my work was voted against, when things didn't go as planned, and when quitting felt like the simplest option. And yet, I'm still here, not because everything went perfectly, but because I slowly learned about what truly matters in this experience. I learned that GeMUN is not about how many speeches you give, how many clauses pass, or whatever title ends up on a piece of paper. It's about standing at the podium with a smile on your face while enjoying the moment and growing through both success and failure. For teaching me that lesson, I will always be grateful to Gabriele, an old friend and excellent delegate, who once reminded me that this experience needs to be lived and not measured. I owe so much to all the people who stood by me, inspired me, and carried me through moments of doubt. Rafa, Miki, Mary, Anto, Dado, Cristina, Alice, Zinni, Emma, and Sasha, who unfortunately are not all here, and last but surely not least, Kine, who's with now today. Mr. Losada and Mr. Orlando, I genuinely don't have enough time to thank you and express everything I feel, so I will re-say thank you. My sincere gratitude also goes to Ms. Battelli, Mr. Lanzoni, Mr. Piana, and Ms. Massa for being outstanding and excellent MUN directors and collaborators all throughout this year. Anita and Pietro, it seems like yesterday when we started this adventure together in the first year as new classmates, and now we sit next to each other at that table. I could not have done this without you. Thank you to Silvia for always opening up her home, turning it into a second GeMUN office, and most importantly, for always bringing a smile to our meetings. Beatrice and Alice, thank you for stepping up with dedication and reliability. I wish you nothing but the best for the year ahead. Matilde, Iris, Greta, Matteo, Petra, and Beatrice, you are extraordinary heads of admin and press. Thank you for being excellent friends and making everything run smoothly. I also want to recognize Alice, Costanza, and Sofia, the ICJ Presidency and Registrar, for the outstanding work you put into this year's case. And finally, thank you to Emma and Emma, our tireless assistants, because your work did not go unnoticed. And now, after this long list of thank you, I look around this room and I feel proud. Not of awards, not of titles, but of every one of you, for your effort, your passion, and your courage, all important things related to this year's theme. As I pass the torch to those who come after me, I want you to live with this. Do not let a piece of paper labeled best delegate, best admin, or best press define who you are. Your value lies in how you grow, how you challenge yourself, and how you treat the people around you. Be the best version of yourself. Don't do it for the applause, don't do it for recognition, but for your own journey. And now, for the last time in my GeMUN career, I yield the floor back to the Mistress of Ceremony. And now, alongside all my colleagues of the Secretariat, I officially declare the 23rd edition of Genova Model United Nations officially closed.
Raga, è l'ultimo della nostra vita.